our healthcare is getting better. Just our general understanding of nutrition is getting better. Everything that we're doing, the likelihood of you dying from, a bear attack, if you will, out in the woods is getting less and less, which is good. So that just means that people are going to keep living longer. And if people are going to keep living longer as financial professionals, we need to make sure that we are planning for that event. And really, it just depends on what you bring to the table. No longer do we have the likelihood that you're going to retire with a pension or the likelihood that you're going to have Social Security that can cover all of your expenses. More and more of the baby boomer generation, as they get older, are going to be coming into retirement with assets. And how do they use those assets? When should they start using them? Should they wait until they're 72 when required minimum distributions kick in, or should they start using them prior to that? All different things that come into play. Our job is that we have to make sure that we're looking out for the potential risk of you living a really long life. So if you retire at 65, Joe, and you want to plan to live to 100, you have 35 years. Now, I'm 36. Well, actually 37. You start to forget when you get older, right? Doesn't matter as much, but that's a whole lifetime for me. So you have to make sure that you are
It's a whole career for sure.
Absolutely. So when people go into retirement, a lot of times they just think, well, this is just kind of like a vacation. Well, when you really think about it, it's a whole third phase of life. It's your life after your working life, or your life after work, as we call it. So our job is to make sure that we're paying attention to inflation, your purchasing power. How much should we anticipate that we need to inflate your income over the years? Joe and our team, we do a great job of looking at breaking your expenses down into not just all expenses, but your fixed expenses, which are cable bills, grocery bills, things that you're going to be paying on a regular basis, no matter how old you are. And then also your social expenses. So your social is travel. It's the big purchases. It's the things that you want to enjoy, especially those first 10 to 15 years of retirement when you have the health and well-being to be able to go out and enjoy the money that you've saved up over your life. So how do we inflate those different things? How much should we inflate them and make sure that they can last as long as you need them to be? Some people come in, Joe, and they say, I want to be completely out of money. I don't care who gets it. And other people come in and say, no, I want to preserve as much as I can for my kids. All these things come into that calculation that says, do you have enough based off all these different variables on everything that we can predict or estimate over the next several years? We can help at least provide some clarity and hopefully some well-being that yes, you can, or give you the honest truth that maybe you should work a few more years.